Supplemental foods. A means foods, containing nutrients determined by nutritional research to be lacking in the diets of children, and 2 that promote the health of the population served by the program under this section, as indicated by relevant nutrition science. Public health concerns and cultural eating patterns, as determined by the Secretary, and B includes foods not described in subparagraph A, substituted by state agencies, with the approval of the Secretary, that provide the nutritional equivalent of foods described in such subparagraph. And 2 allow for different cultural eating patterns than foods described in such subparagraph. Sec. 24004. School kitchen equipment grants. A. In addition to amounts otherwise available, there is appropriated to the Secretary of Agriculture for fiscal year 2022, out of any money in the Treasury not otherwise appropriated, $500 million, to remain available until expended, to award grants to states, as defined in Section 12(d) of the Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act, 42 U.S.C. 1760, d. to make competitive subgrants to local educational agencies and schools to purchase equipment with a value of greater than $1,000. That, with respect to the school lunch program established under the Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act, 42 U.S.C. 1751-1769J, and the school breakfast program established under Section 4 of the Child Nutrition Act of 1966, 42 U.S.C. (1773) is necessary to serve healthier meals, improve food safety, and increase scratch cooking. B. The Secretary may set aside up to 5% of the funds made available under subsection A for the purpose of training and technical assistance to support scratch cooking, which may be administered by states or other entities. Sec. 24005. Healthy Food Incentives Demonstration. A. In addition to amounts otherwise available, there is appropriated to the Secretary of Agriculture for fiscal year 2022, out of any money in the Treasury not otherwise appropriated, $634 million, to remain available until expended, to provide competitive grants to states in accordance with this section. B. A state that receives a grant under this section shall use such grant funds to make subgrants to local educational agencies and schools for activities that support 1. Serving healthy school meals and after-school snacks that meet discretionary goals established by the Secretary. 2. Increasing scratch cooking. 3. Conducting experimental nutrition education activities, including school garden programs. 4. Procuring local, regional, and culturally appropriate foods and foods produced by underserved or limited resource farmers, as defined by the Secretary, to serve as part of the child nutrition programs under the Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act, 42 U.S.C. 1751-1769J, or the Child Nutrition Act of 1966, 42 U.S.C. 1771 to 1793. 5. Reducing the availability of less healthy foods, as defined by the Secretary, during the school day, or 6. Carrying out additional activities to encourage the development of healthy nutrition and physical activity habits among children. C. A state that receives a grant under this section may use such grant funds to fund a statewide nutrition education coordinator to 1. Support individual school food authority nutrition education efforts, and 2. Facilitate collaboration with other nutrition education efforts in the state. D. A state that receives a grant under this section may not use more than 5% of such grant funds to carry out administrative activities. E. In this section, the term state has the meaning given the term in Section 12, D, of the Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act, 42 U.S.C. 1760, D. Subtitle F. Human Services and Community Supports Sec. 25001. Assistive Technology. In addition to amounts otherwise available, there is appropriated for fiscal year 2022, out of any money in the Treasury not otherwise appropriated, $10 million, to remain available until expended, to carry out the Assistive Technology Act of 1998, 29 U.S.C. 3001 et Sec. Sec. 25002. Family Violence Prevention and Services Funding. In addition to amounts otherwise available, there is appropriated for fiscal year 2022, out of any money in the Treasury not otherwise appropriated, $27 million, to remain available until expended, for necessary administrative expenses to carry out Sections 303, 309, and 313 of the Family Violence Prevention and Services Act, 42 U.S.C. 10,401 to 10,414, and Section 2204 of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, Public Law 117-2. Sec. 25003. Pregnancy Assistance Fund. Section 10214 of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, 42 U.S. C. 18204, is amended by striking the period and inserting, and $25 million for each of fiscal years 2022 through 2024, to remain available until expended, to carry out this part. Sec. 25004. Funding for the Aging Network and Infrastructure. A. Appropriation. In addition to amounts otherwise available, there are appropriated for fiscal year 2022, out of any money in the Treasury not otherwise appropriated, to the Department of Health and Human Services, 1. $75 million for the Research, Demonstration, and Evaluation Center for the Aging Network to carry out the activities of the center under Section 201, G, of the Older Americans Act of 1965, OAA, 42 U.S.C. 3011, G. 2. $655 million to carry out Part B of Title III of the OAA, 42 U.S.C. 3030D, including 4A, supportive services of the type made available for fiscal year 2021 and authorized under such Part B, investing in the aging services network for the purposes of improving the availability of supportive services, including investing in the aging services network workforce. C. The acquisition, alteration, or renovation of facilities, including multipurpose senior centers and mobile units, and D. Construction or modernization of facilities to serve as multipurpose senior centers. 3. $140 million to carry out Part C of Title III of the OAA, 42 U.S.C. 3030D-21-3030G-23, including to support the modernization of infrastructure and technology, including kitchen equipment and delivery vehicles, to support the provision of congregate nutrition services and home-delivered nutrition services under such Part 4. $150 million to carry out Part D of Title III of the OAA. 42 U.S.C. 3030S-3030S-2, including Section 373E of such Part. 42 U.S.C. 3030S-1, E. $5. $50 million to carry out Title VI of the OAA, 42 U.S.C. 3057-3057-0, including Part C of such title, 42 U.S.C. 3057K11, 6. $50 million to carry out the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program under Title VII of the OAA, 42 U.S.C. 3058-3058FF. 7. $59 million for technical assistance centers or national resource centers supported under the OAA, including all such centers that received funding under Title IV of the OAA, 42 U.S.C. 3031-3033A, for fiscal year 2021, in order to support technical assistance and resource development related to culturally appropriate care management and services for older individuals with the greatest social need, including racial and ethnic minority individuals. 8. $15 million for technical assistance centers or national resource centers supported under the OAA that are focused on providing services for older individuals who are underserved due to their sexual orientation or gender identity. 9. $1 million for efforts of national training and technical assistance centers supported under the OAA to A. Support expanding the reach of the aging services network to more effectively assist older individuals in remaining socially engaged and active. B. Provide additional support in technical assistance and training to the aging services network to address the social isolation of older individuals. C. Promote best practices and identify innovation in the field. And D. Continue to support a repository for innovations designed to increase